Everyone is saying the same thing. It looks like the same iPhone, same shape, same 3 cameras, same large screen, same camera block. And honestly, they may be right. The iPhone 18 Pro Max may not look dramatically new. But what if Apple is not changing the shape? What if Apple is fixing the problems hidden inside it? The problems you feel every day. Photos that look wrong in difficult light. Zoom that becomes weak after sunset. A battery that disappears when you use the camera. A screen cutout that still blocks part of the display. And one problem that appears when you need your phone the most. 5 possible fixes. But the final one is the most important. You may never use it, but when you need it, nothing else will matter. I will reveal that one at the end. First, answer this in your own mind. When you say an iPhone feels new, do you mean a new design? Or do you mean fewer daily problems? Because those are not the same thing. Why does it look so familiar? Current reports suggest the iPhone 18 Pro Max will keep the same general design. The screen is expected to remain around 6.9 inches. The 3 rear cameras may stay in a similar position. The large camera area may also remain. So yes, from a distance, it may look like an iPhone 17 Pro Max. Apple may save the major visual redesign for a later anniversary model. But think about your own phone. Do you really hate its shape? Or do you hate what happens while using it? The screen becomes hard to see outdoors. The camera overexposes bright areas. Zoom quality falls at night. The battery drops quickly during recording. The signal disappears during travel. A new shape would not solve those problems. So Apple may be keeping the body familiar and changing the experience inside. The first fix, the screen may feel less blocked. You paid for a large display. But part of that display is still occupied by the dynamic island. You notice it during videos. You notice it during games. You notice it when an app places information near the top. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to have a smaller dynamic island. Some reports suggest it could become around 35% narrower. Other reports disagree about the exact size. The latest information also suggests fully under display ID may not be ready yet. So do not expect a completely clean screen. Expect a smaller interruption. That sounds minor. But you look at the front of your phone hundreds of times every day. A smaller cutout could make the same 6.9-inch screen feel more open. Here is the real question. Would a smaller dynamic island feel like a real upgrade? Or have you already stopped noticing it? Your answer tells you whether this first fix matters. But this is not the camera upgrade Mark Gurman was talking about. That comes next. The second fix, the camera may stop guessing for you. Take a photo outside. The sky becomes too bright. Take a portrait indoors. The face looks good, but the background looks artificial. Take a group photo. One person is sharp, someone else looks soft. Modern iPhones use heavy software processing. That processing can create excellent photographs. But sometimes the phone makes a decision you did not want. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is rumored to use a variable aperture main camera. That means the opening inside the lens could physically change. A wider opening could bring in more light. A smaller opening could control bright scenes and keep more of the image in focus. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has said the iPhone 18 Pro generation could receive some of the biggest camera hardware upgrades in the lineup's history. Current reports point to variable aperture as one of those changes. This is important, because the phone may stop depending on software for everything. The lens would control light first. Then the processor would work with better information. Imagine taking a group photo. The phone could use a smaller opening. More faces could remain naturally focused. Imagine filming at night. The phone could open the lens wider. More real light could reach the sensor. Less artificial brightening may be needed. The technology is not completely new to smartphones. But this would be new for the iPhone, and Apple would need to prove it creates a visible difference. Which photo disappoints you more? A bright sky with no detail, or a night photo that looks soft and fake? Keep that answer. Because the next fix targets the second problem directly. The third fix, zoom, may finally work better after sunset during the day. Smartphone zoom can look impressive. Then the sun goes down, the image becomes noisy, details disappear, faces look soft, and the phone may secretly use another camera or digital cropping because the telephoto lens cannot collect enough light. That is the problem. More zoom does not always mean better zoom. The iPhone 18 Pro models are rumored to use a wider aperture on the telephoto camera. A wider opening allows more light to enter. That could improve indoor portraits, concert videos, evening street photography, and distant subjects after sunset. This may be more useful than adding another huge zoom number. Most people do not need 50x zoom. They need their normal zoom to work when the lighting becomes difficult. Think about the last concert you recorded, or a school performance, or a family event inside a hall. Was the subject far away? Did the image become noisy when you zoomed? That is the real camera problem Apple may be targeting. Not bigger numbers, more dependable results. But better cameras create another problem. They use power, they create heat, and they encourage you to record longer. That leads to the fix almost every Pro Max owner will understand. The fourth fix: heavy use may stop destroying the battery. Your phone says 60%. You open the camera, you record 4K video, you use navigation, you upload clips, you increase the screen brightness. Suddenly, the battery is much lower than expected. The Pro Max already lasts a long time during simple use. But heavy work is different. Camera processing uses power, a bright display uses power, mobile data uses power, gaming uses power, and heat makes efficiency harder. Reported regulatory information lists a possible 5,567 mAh battery for the US iPhone 18 Pro Max. The US iPhone 17 Pro Max is listed at 5,088 mAh. That would be an increase of 479 mAh. The Chinese version may use a smaller battery because space is needed for a physical SAM tray. These figures are reported, not officially announced by Apple, but capacity is only one part. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is also expected to use an A20 Pro chip built on a 2nm process. It may also use a more efficient LTPO plus display. A larger battery gives the phone more energy. A more efficient chip wastes less of it. A more efficient screen uses less during normal tasks. That combination matters more than one battery number. The phone may become slightly thicker and heavier. Some reports connect the extra size to the battery and cooling system. So there is a trade-off. More endurance, more weight. Which problem bothers you more, a heavy phone in your hand, or a dead phone before the day ends? There is no perfect answer, but your answer tells you whether Apple's decision makes sense. And now we reach the final problem. This one is different. A camera problem ruins a photograph. A battery problem ruins your day. This problem can leave you completely disconnected. The final fix: what happens when the network disappears. You are driving through an empty area, you are hiking, you are traveling, or a storm damages the local network. Your phone shows no signal. At that moment, the camera does not matter. The dynamic island does not matter. Even the processor does not matter. You need communication. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to use a next-generation modem. Reports connect Apple's C2 modem with improved connectivity and possible support for more advanced 5G satellite features. However, modem plans may vary by country. Some reports suggest Apple could still use Qualcomm hardware in certain markets. Full satellite calling or normal satellite internet has not been confirmed. So what could actually change? Today, satellite features are mainly focused on safety and limited communication. The future goal could be broader connectivity when normal towers are unavailable. Messages could become more useful. Location sharing could improve. Emergency communication could become faster, and selected online services may eventually work through satellite connections. But Apple has not confirmed the final feature set. This is the fix that needs the most caution. The hardware direction is being reported. The final experience remains unknown. Still, think about this. Would you rather have a new phone color, or a phone that can reach someone when there is no normal signal? That is why this final feature could matter more than the entire design. You may use the camera every day. You may need satellite connectivity only once. But that one time could become the most important moment you ever use the phone. Is IT really the same iPhone? Now return to the first image. The same shape, the same screen size, the same 3-camera layout. It looks familiar. But underneath that familiar design, Apple may be targeting 5 real problems. A dynamic island that takes too much space. A main camera that cannot physically control light. A zoom camera that becomes weak in darkness. Heavy use that drains the battery. And communication that stops when normal networks disappear. The design may be similar. The problems are not cosmetic. They affect how the phone behaves. That is the difference between a redesign and an improvement. A redesign changes what people see. A real upgrade changes what the owner feels. What Mark Gurman is actually saying: Mark Gurman has not confirmed every rumored feature, but he has said Apple is preparing major camera hardware upgrades for the iPhone 18 Pro generation. He also believes Apple's most likely announcement date is September 8, 2026, while September 9 remains possible. That does not make the phone official. Apple can still change details, features can be delayed, and supply chain information can be wrong. The expected launch includes the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max. The normal iPhone 18 is expected later, in spring 2027. That means Apple's September event may focus heavily on premium phones. The Pro Max will need to prove that familiar design does not mean a lazy upgrade. The price problem: there may be one final obstacle. Price. Analysts expect higher component costs to put pressure on iPhone 18 Pro pricing. Some estimates suggest the Pro Max could start around $1,399. Other estimates predict increases of up to $200 or more. None of those prices is official. That changes the entire conversation. At a higher price, small improvements will not be enough. The camera must produce better photographs. The battery must last longer. The screen must feel cleaner. The modem must improve real connectivity. And the A20 Pro must deliver more than a benchmark number. A familiar design can be acceptable. A familiar experience at a higher price will not be. The iPhone 18 Pro Max may look like the same phone. That criticism is fair. The body is not expected to change dramatically, but the reported upgrades target real weaknesses. The variable aperture could improve control over light. The wider telephoto aperture could improve nighttime zoom. The larger battery and 2nm processor could improve heavy use endurance. The smaller dynamic island could free more screen space, and the next modem could prepare the phone for stronger communication beyond normal cellular coverage. None of this is official yet. Apple still needs to prove every claim. But the real question is no longer, does it look different? The better question is, does it fail less often when I need it? Look at the phone you use today. Which problem do you notice first? The battery, the night camera, the screen cutout, or the signal? That answer already tells you whether the iPhone 18 Pro Max could feel new to you.